Ma'am.
Hi, Mr. Schron. My name is Jessica Columbi. I, too, am left of center and sometimes claim being a Democrat, but I'm a little tired of all of the partisan stuff, which is why I so much appreciate your language and your authenticity and your candor is so unlike so many of the typical politicians that I've spent time with. So I really appreciate that you're bringing that to the table. I am studying change management and organizational behavior, so I also have a particular interest in your candidacy because of your management experience, and I think that's an underrated quality for people that we elect, so I'm excited about that part of your candidacy. I want to get a little less heady and a little more visceral. I'm interested, you said you're doing this because after having spent all of this time in the private sector and now some time as a councilman, you're doing this because the job's hasn't been done, but I'm wondering what really is driving you. Why are you doing this? And also, if you could say a few words about your relationship with CMSD.
What the heck were you thinking? I think.
I think what I was thinking is that I really don't believe the job is finished. I do believe that we need to have an executive at that, kind of crazy county executive. So I think that is the driving word, and I want to be part of that. And I want to finish it because I think I can make a difference out there. I think that when we look at it, and just as a mini example, the other day when we were doing budgets, November, man. November we were doing budgets and we had 3 people testifying and all 3 were testifying about the heroin problem. One division, another department, another department. And I asked, well, I understand the problem of that heroin is an epidemic. The black community, the African American community has experienced it for years. It's now coming out of the suburbs. Everybody's getting a wake up moment finally about the problem. And I asked the first person, did you talk to the second? The second person, did you talk to the third to the second? And they said, no, they hadn't. And yet, what I'm talking about as far as reorganizing, this is what needs to be done. We need to get these, what were previously silos. I mean, and it's simple, it's not simple. This is a very complicated thing. How do we even drive the software that's going to be driving our business, and how we do the operational piece? We're actually using a flip phone to do most of our county business concept. And we need to move into the iPhone techniques, and that's just as an analogy of where we are. And so that's what I want to bring to the table as far as that concept of moving forward and doing management. And to your CMSD, I'm very committed to Cleveland Municipal School Districts. Not only am I committed, I've got the Jack Schron Scholarship in my father's name that we actually scholarship 3 students last year at Max Hayes, the last vocational high school in town. I personally deliver those checks to the individuals who win the scholarships, and we follow their careers all the way on through. Cleveland Municipal School District is on the edge, I think, of pulling itself up. I did a commercial with my chief political advisor, Senator George Voinovich, last year for the levy. That levy, my CFO is probably not thrilled about this, but it cost Juergens money because our property values are going to go up, but it was the right thing to do to have the Cleveland Municipal School District get that levy in place for those kids and for those students.
Flip phones, huh?
Well, I think that's where we are. We need to move away from that.
How are those dot matrix printers doing?
They're doing, it's actually those blue fax machines. You remember those things? Or blue mimeograph.
We're going to take the last question now. Go right ahead, sir.
Plans for Lakefront Airport to be updated or changed around? It's been sitting there for 1,000,000 years. Any plans in the growth of Cleveland for that area?
And the opposite question often gets asked, not updated, but bulldozed.
Well, obviously you have the Meigs Field technique, which was used up there in Chicago, but we don't quite have that situation because unlike Chicago, they were still taking federal money. We were taking federal money here. They stopped 20 years before. In the interest of time, the first step of moving along the lakefront development, because I'll just take it as a lakefront development question more than just the airport. We have first phase of East Bank of the Flats was something that we were all involved with, and that's the first phase has been done. It was so successful with Ernst & Young moving in there, Tucker Ellison moving in there, the new hotel, all the top restaurants, that phase 2 is going in place. That now is going to connect, I guess I'll do it visually for you, is now going to connect us up to the lake, and now we're coming down the river, we're coming across the lake. The next section that has already been put in place is all of the property north of the stadium is being taken out, and the north of the stadium is where you see the development going in place there. Then you come down to the harbor, and the harbor is the next phase of the development, and then of course right next to the harbor is Burke Lakefront. This is a 30-year, 40 years have been sitting idle. We've got the steps moving along. I would like to see that we actually finish the steps as we continue this process.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to a conversation with Jack Schron. And Jack, I want to thank you for a great
Please,
conversation.
a round of applause for our moderator, Mike McIntyre. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone seeking news about the county's prospects for the RNC should see Rob Frost.
That must be